Mr. Peter Frampton, ladies and gentlemen. It's been such a pleasure. I got to tell you, we have done 2 years of touring together. This is the last show, and for right now. And this is show number 89, city number 89, and we've learned all the changes now. We know our parts. We've got it down. We're ready, and we're really. This is actually the highlight for both, I think, Peter and I each night. I mean, we work really hard with our bands, and we love what we do. But when we get a chance to get together like this, it's like a new band or something. You know, it's like really fun. It's fun. Yeah. So we go back 50 years, and this is the Steve Miller Band's 50th anniversary, if you can believe that, of releasing records and touring. I guess count the 11 years before that. But, so it sort of does make you go back and start thinking about all this stuff. When I was like 25, I thought, when I'm 50, I'll do all that. But when I was 50, I was playing 70 cities a year, and I didn't have time to do that. So, and I really don't have time to go back over it all now. But playing with Peter has brought a lot of it back, because when we made our first album, we went to London, the Steve Miller Band, to record at a place called Olympic Studios. And it was a great studio, and the Stones had been working there, and The Who had been working there, and there were a lot of great musicians coming and going. And I noticed there was this one really great session guitarist that kept coming in and like fixing everybody's records and playing on everybody's stuff, and it turned out it was Peter Frampton. Who knew? Well, I figured it out, and I knew, and I heard Peter play and went, wow, what a great blues player, and we became friends, and that was 1968, and then like 1970, Peter had gone, he had formed Humble Pie, he had then formed Frampton's Camel, and he came to the States to tour, and we picked him up. I think our first gig was in New Jersey, at the Capitol Theater in New York or something like that. We played every small vaudeville hall in the United States together, and we became really good friends and got to hear each other play all the time, and we got to jam a lot. Time went on, then we had a few hits, and Peter had a few hits, and the next thing you knew, 1976, in 1 year, both bands went from playing in vaudeville houses to hockey arenas.
Yeah! Woo! Hockey!
And we had to get a bigger PA and more lights and play to more people. And then that little 6-week tour was over, and we went to basketball arenas at universities, and that was twice as big. And we had to get a bigger PA and more lights and figure out how to make a gymnasium, a great big college gymnasium, sound good. And then we went to the big arenas, and that's where it got really tough, because it was like 20,000 people, and it was a great big building, and the PA we had to keep reinventing everything. And then that summer, we started playing in football fields to 90,000 people. And Peter and I went out and did a bunch of those shows together, and he always has had a great band, but it was amazing to see Peter Frampton by himself come out and sit down in a stool in front of 90,000 people and just totally rock the house and mesmerize everybody. I immediately put my acoustic guitar away. I just thought, and really, we went through this whole experience. And Peter, I know when you were out there, what was it like sitting on a stool with an acoustic guitar and going, strumming a nice little chord, a nice little quiet chord, and then singing?
It was nerve-wracking. It was very exciting. Obviously, playing in front of that many people is a very exciting thing, and you are basically an ant on the stage, you know, because we had no screens in those days, no TV screens either side, so it was very we had to make bigger movements. As I told Joseph, I used to jump off a piano at least that high. I'll be over in a second. But no, I was just no, I'm not doing it.
Come on.
Oh,
Come on.
See, that's how he did it.
A little slow, but all right, let's get back to it. We're going to do some blues tunes for you guys. And here's the deal. You know, like rock and roll, jazz, a lot of really great music all comes from the blues. And the blues started really in the Delta in Mississippi and Memphis. And when you go back and you start looking at it and listening to the earliest recordings, you find out it's like people like Robert Johnson. Everybody knows who Robert Johnson is. You know, Crossroad Blues, Hellhound on My Trail, those great songs. And they were all done acoustically. And they started making recordings. People started hearing it. Went from the 20s to the 30s, and then all of a sudden the electric guitar showed up. And T-Bone Walker started playing electric guitar in Texas and making records. And then B.B. King heard T-Bone Walker when B.B. was a little kid and said, when I grow up, I want to be just like T-Bone and play electric blues guitar. And Freddie King and Albert King and, you know, then Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Junior Wells, Buddy Guy, Little Walter. All these guys were from the Delta. And they moved, they went back and forth, like in the summer they'd go up to Chicago and they'd work in the bars in Chicago. Chicago's a real rough town. And they started playing through amplifiers. And Little Walter started playing harmonica like I played earlier through a microphone. And Muddy started playing slide guitar on a Fender Telecaster. And the next thing you know, this music really started changing. And it went to New Orleans, and you know, they sort of mixed it up with like French classical music and started inventing jazz and rhythm and blues in Texas and Chicago blues. And like Muddy said, you know, the blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll. And that would be us. And we listened to all those records and became fascinated by them. And I actually knew T-Bone Walker. It was amazing. I knew him when I was 9 years old. And he showed me how to play. I don't know if I told you this, Peter. He showed me how to play the guitar behind my head and do the splits.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do it later.
Okay, yeah.
And
I'll be jumping up the piano.
yeah, you jump up the piano. I can see it. So we are going to do some tunes for you now that we love, and Peter has picked for a tune to do for you. A Don Nix tune. Don Nix is from Memphis. Freddie King recorded this in Texas, and it's called The Same Old Blues.
I can't help but think sun used to come shining in my back door. Now the sun is turned to rain on my laughter. Take the pain, it's the pain of the same old blue. Sunshine's all you see now. But it all looks like clouds to me. As I sit in my room, staring out at the blue, it's the rain. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same old blue. It's the rain. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same old blue.
Thank you. And this one we're going to do next is an Elmore James tune. And this was kind of by way of Memphis and Chicago. And Elmore James is the guy who you all know him for this lick. Yeah, that lick. That's Elmore James. That's how he changed the whole damn world. You could do that lick in New Guinea and they go, yeah, man. Well, we're gonna do one of Elmore's tunes, and this one's called Stranger Blues. think so. Play the guitar, man. Mr. Peter Frampton, thank you so much.